form issues.
Oh, here you go.
I guess they sent me some updated forms, so hopefully you got one. If not, we have some blank forms, generic that we fill out. This is just fine. The reason we're here is I don't know if your children have told you about what we've done today and last Friday. They have their part. They have something called an EverFind module we'll talk about in a little bit. But the parent commitment is to come and watch this presentation so your child can get an iPad, hopefully in about 3 weeks or so. That's the latest we've heard. The delay was caused by, in order to do the updates, which Apple does regularly, they'd have to touch every machine, collect them. So they're waiting for Apple to come up with the Wi-Fi, just a push down to every machine that we update. So once that happens, then the kids can have their iPads at school, we'll push down the latest updates, and then they'll be ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I don't have my clicker, so I'm going to run back and forth a little bit. Okay, this is the TUSD Connect Parent Meeting. My name is Tim Downey, or Mr. Downey. I'm Mr. Downey, and I'm the assistant principal here. Great school, fantastic students. It's just been a real exciting pleasure for me to come here, enjoy spending time with the kids, and these special events that we have. Lots of special events here at Pioneer, as you know. So let's go ahead and get started. I had to find batteries because they're doing a Guys and Dolls play next week, and most of the wireless batteries were dead, so I did find one that worked. So I'm going to go ahead and play the opening video. I'm going to escape for a moment and get to our video. And this is a welcome from Dr. Franklin, and it tells you a little bit about what TUS Connect is. Our sound is a little funky. Had this happen. Okay, I'm going to pause it for a moment. That will help. I had to run over the board.
Tustin Unified Schools are getting connected. The board and I are pleased to share our progress with you since the passage of Measure S in 2012. Our vision for teaching and learning to meet the rigorous demands of higher education and the global economy is that all students will work creatively and together to solve problems, accessing worldwide content, and effectively communicating what they've learned. This kind of instruction takes connections. Our classrooms are being connected through the implementation of new instructional technology. Our teachers are being connected with each other and their content across the world. And our students are making connections with each other, their teachers, their schools, and the world.
The 21st century classroom looks dramatically different than in the years previous. And it all starts with the iPhone. Because my students come into my class with already access to the World Wide Web, to Wikipedia, to everything that's out there, to the information. The dynamics in the classroom look different. People are more engaged. They have a greater variety of resources to pull from.
21st century teaching is about collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creating. And the devices are a great way to get my students to do that. But their job is to really facilitate that, just like the teacher is there to facilitate all of that learning.
You aren't just giving them the tools and say, here you go do what you need to do. You have to be able to teach them and almost coach them more so. You become a coach. You're there to help the kids, guide them in their learning.
The technology devices have totally changed the way things are done in the classroom. It's not just one-on-one with students. Students are able to access so much more than just what a textbook offers. And they're excited. They're just so excited to come to school and learn.
They've taken ownership. They've taken ownership of their own learning. They want to go home and dive deeper into the subjects that we're learning about. Ms. Lehman, can I go log on to such and such, and can I figure this out? Yes, go for it.
They're really fun, and instead of just reading, you don't need a book. You can actually just type it in, Laura, instead of just looking through pages and pages and pages.
It gives you access to pictures, gives you videos, gives you primary sources, gives you documents, and it's really just broadens your view of the world, basically.
teachers are going to be able to have coaches that come into their school sites and help them implement this crazy new world of technology. And they will be able to help them design curriculum that's going to directly impact our student learning. As scary as it can be, it's super exciting, and we want to make sure we support teachers along the way.
Kids come into the classroom oftentimes knowing more, or definitely as much as we know when it comes to technology. They've been using iPads, iPhones, all sorts of technology since they were 2. So teachers need to be trained on all of this technology in order to be really great teachers and be amazing facilitators for their students.
What I'm excited about is that the technology that's being added to all the schools here in Tustin Unified School District. We have the ability to have our own access points to get on the internet in every classroom. Every teacher is being given a complete upgrade in technology in their classroom. And then each student will be given a Lenovo Twist laptop. And once that happens, the amount of technology in the school is growing exponentially.
And what that facilitates is, once again, just access to content, access to information. And at the core of that, it always comes back to the students. The students become the center of everything.
I think it's very cool to have laptops and iPads. It gives us like a motive to do it.
I think it's going to be helpful, like even with just replacing our books. So there's a lot of trust in kids, which I think is good. It puts a lot of responsibility on us, but that's good.
Haiku is a learning management system that I use as a virtual extension of my classroom. So I use it to extend the content beyond what I could just teach in a few minutes.
When we get home from school for haiku, we get on haiku and we do some learning projects. It's kind of like we're actually talking to the person in real life, just we're at home separated.
I've had a lot of parents say to me, I'm really unsure about this new haiku thing. What is it? What's going on? And they've been asking, can I get on and help them with things? And there's so much more of a collaboration at home with learning. And it's not just paper, pencil things. They're actually talking at home. They're having conversations at the dinner table.
Parents are more plugged in. It's an immediate access. They know what's going on in their kids' lives, and then they can really support what's going on in their kids' school. It's no longer just, what did you do in school today? It's, oh, I saw that you worked with frogs today, or I saw that you did a debate today. How did that debate go?
That sort of makes me more prepared for college, because things like on haiku, with the discussions and stuff, we Mr. Jones went on talking to us about how this is exactly how college would go.
Prior to this year, I was teaching geometry from bell to bell. It was very difficult for me to answer questions and to be able to get to every single student. And so as soon as I heard about the flipped classroom, I thought it would be a really good opportunity for me to give the students a little bit more one-on-one time.
And what it does is it takes the instruction that the teacher would normally deliver directly to the students in the classroom during the day, and it moves it into a video format and put it on their web page. So this allows students to work more collaboratively, communicate more, be more creative, and more critical thinking.
I'm hoping that gone are the days of the long stand and deliver, here's the low-level content, now we'll do a quick 5 minutes on are you getting it, and then you go home and do the difficult problems by yourself, because that isn't going to work for a large number of students. Whereas if we can do it so that we get that low-level stuff at home and they come into the classroom and they're working collaboratively, hopefully bring them all up to a level that maybe they wouldn't have reached otherwise.
I felt that I responded better to this method of teaching because I could go at my own pace, that sort of thing. And yeah, I felt like it really was helpful.
I'm super excited that we have this, the bond that was just passed, Measure S, is going to be immeasurable for our students because of all the wonderful things that are going to take place, all the technology is going to be put into the students' hands and the teachers' hands, and with the right direction, with the right guidance, it's going to be able to transform what happens in and outside of the classroom. They won't be closed in by the walls anymore.
It takes the classroom outside of the classroom. It turns the classroom into a 24-hour-a-day classroom. So I think it frees up students to have a much greater choice and also to mastering their own content.
I just have found that it has made my teaching better. It's made the students engaged. They want to learn. They want to be there. They're excited to use all forms of technology. And it's changed my teaching as a teacher this whole year using technology.
I've seen a huge improvement in critical thinking. I've seen a huge improvement in engagement and motivation. Students are totally excited when they get to school. They're excited to explore things. They're excited to discuss with others and collaborate. It's been a huge change from last year.
We've come a long way, but there's still a lot of work to do. How will you connect to Tustin Unified Schools?
We're going to go ahead and go back to our presentation. And we're going to push that right here. This is okay, so this is the device your child will get. It's a 16 gigabyte iPad 4. And they'll get a clam case with it, so you can drop it and kick it. Well, don't kick it, please. But it should be quite durable. Internet access is monitored while at school and away through remote filtering systems. So it's filtered, so if the student tries to go to a website that's inappropriate, it'll block them, and then it'll actually track their history too. So where with the 3G system, with the phones and things, we don't have that control. And with this monitoring system, we really will. So students will be where they're supposed to be, and they get the devices to go to and from, to be at home and at school, and that's found to be a very effective aid to learning. Okay. And there will be, I'm not sure how many apps yet, but at least a dozen apps, some really good ones. I know K4 is already rolled out, I believe, or 1-4. 5th grade's coming soon, and then we're going to be right there with 5th grade. Go ahead. Okay, so student internet requests, like Ed said, is filtered at school and at home. So the request gets sent through this filter, even from home. And then the student request, once again, goes to the website, filtered sites, and then it gets delivered once it's been approved. And it is tracked as well, which you'll see in just a moment. Go ahead. And here's the reason. Actually, I was a classroom teacher for 27 years. And the last 2 years before this one, I was actually a technology trainer for Riverside County Office of Education. So I saw this coming, and I kind of wanted to see what it looked like at the site. And part of it is this Common Core that students will be, they might do a pilot this year, but next year is the first year of full-blown assessment of Common Core assessment. And it focuses on really a new kind of learning, not just pick C, because that's usually a good answer. The last 15 years we were teaching students how to be good test takers, but maybe not good learners. And so this promotes collaboration by demonstrating ability to work effectively and respectfully with diverse teams. Anybody ever work with somebody that's different than you? Yeah, it's, in the real world, you've got to figure out how to work with people. Communication, very important, exchanging thoughts and opinions with peers, educators, and professionals. Critical thinking, hugely important. I don't know anybody has a job where you go in and they say, here, you're going to do the 12 times tables today. Then they're going to say, here's a problem, fix it, make it better. And that's where critical thinking comes in. Disciplined thinking is clear, rational, open-minded, and informed by evidence. And then creativity. We want to create, to be honest, we're in a place where we should be creating entrepreneurs. These are a bunch of smart kids here. And they're very creative. Did anybody come to the food truck night? What was happening here was unbelievably fantastic. Wasn't that amazing? It was, completely student-driven. Just creativity like you wouldn't believe, and very deep thinking. Go ahead. Okay, Everfly. These are the modules. We have one more to go. They're instructional modules. There are actually 8 altogether, but we are required to do 3. The modules to learn proper use, so and behavior of the devices, as well as content created and posted while using them. Let me explain that. Last Friday we did the viral world, which just how to be safe online, pretty much, avoid malware and all those kinds of buggy things that are out on the internet. Good proper use, so you're not downloading things you should be downloading and that kind of thing. Today we did internet resources and credibility. It was really good. We got into plagiarism, what makes a site a reputable site, what do the HTTPS mean versus HTTP, .com versus .biz, .edu, what do these all mean? And it's a very informative module. And and about how for students to find those credible sources, because there's a bunch of stuff out there. Because it's on the internet, it doesn't necessarily make it true. So we got to find the good sources. And so we had a training module on that today. The students have to score 7 out of 10. I'd say the average is about 9.5. They really did well. I taught a module. Avid testing was this morning from 7 to 9 or something. So I taught all those Avid 8th graders this module today, and I think we had all 10s and 9. I mean, they were all over it and engaged. And there's experience on the internet, but they not necessarily know how to find really credible sources. They sure know how to social network and all that kind of thing, and find information, but is it valuable information? Is it credible? And that's what we're trying to teach them. And then our final module, which is on the day after tomorrow, is on digital relationships and respect. Once again, about being safe out there. Somebody that connects with you online that says they're 12 years old may not be. And then how to have proper etiquette. How to respect others online, how to not to bully. We could get a whole thing on cyberbullying, all those kinds of things. So your students will have a module on that on Friday, about an hour, and they have to pass a test. And they have to pass all 3 in order to get their iPad. So they're going to have some great background experience. And then the other modules that are available through Reverify, we'll give that website when we conclude this training for the students, how to buy suggestions for buying a computer, wireless communication, multimedia projects, and looking to the future, which is so hard to me. What's out 5 years is just who knows. People want smaller devices and larger displays, and I've seen some amazing examples, holographic displays, and just amazing. So I don't know if I can predict what's going to happen in 5 years. But we thought there'd be flying cars by now, which, it's a good thing. There isn't. But but some things that happens, who would have thought the internet? I was watching something yesterday. Brian Gumbel was on the Today Show in 1994. And they're going, what? What's this internet thing? What is that? It's obviously, it's been 20 years ago, but your children have lived this in their whole life. I didn't. and your children have lived with it. So this is the world they live in, and it's changing rapidly. And that's part of why we're teaching them how to not be test takers, but have those skills, because they're going to have several jobs. And every job is going to require communication, collaboration, creative thinking. And so this will foster that. Go ahead. Okay, care of the device, important topic. Just some tips when not in use. Place in standby mode with screen off. We're going to train students on all of these things, of course, if they don't know already. If they've got an iPhone, the iconic look is just about the same. Place the device on a flat, solid surface when in use. Avoid eating or drinking around the device to prevent damage. Particularly around an IT person, they will really not like that. Handle screen with care to avoid scratching, cracking, or breaking. The Gorilla Glass, it's pretty strong stuff. I would say you have to try to mess it up. I have seen a lot of cracked phones around this school, so I know that we need to focus on taking proper care of the devices and never attempt to repair, reconfigure, or modify the device on your own. You're going to mess with the warranty and all that, and probably break it. Okay, go ahead. Continue. Avoid extreme temperatures. Keep away from magnets. Disconnect the device from power outlet before moving or cleaning. Don't leave it in a vehicle because of the heat issues and things. And keep them in the clam case. Once you're in them, they're kind of hard to get out anyway, so it's probably better. So the clam cases are very durable, and I think you'll be glad that you have them because they will drop once in a while. Okay? Here are some damage and loss device policies. Any damage to a device will result in partial or full replacement cost of the device. That is, if it's broken if it comes broken. Lost, if the device is lost during school hours, it must be reported to school administration. If it is lost during non-school hours, report it to your parent or guardian, and they'll probably call the police. By the way, they do have the GPS tracking, so if they are lost someplace, we can, ping them and find out where they are, at least very close, it's at this school or this house or this block or whatever. Stolen, if the device is stolen during school hours, it must be reported to the school administration immediately. If a device is stolen during non-school hours, notify your parents and local authorities. And that's frankly an issue. The only thing that kind of might not be as a bad part of this is that everybody will have one. So I won't need to take your iPad because I have one or whatever. And then, once again, they can be tracked by GPS anyway, so it's a pretty big risk for a student to steal the device. And then, I guess this is very important, it's in bold. TUSD assumes no financial responsibility for any device damaged, lost, or stolen. And we'll talk about insurance in a little bit. There's a couple of policies, and I think they're quite reasonable. Okay. The insurance is through the Worth Group as the provider. Coverage length for 1 year from the time of purchase. Why bother? They're going to have the device for 6 months at this point. So the 6-month policy is, I think, $23. It covers everything. So it's well worth it. The policy information is on our website. There's also some frequently asked question section on our website. If you go to Pioneer website, on the right side, there's a number of links, and 3 or 4 of them relate to what we talked about tonight. And the thing about the 6-month policy, you have to do it by phone or by mail. I don't know why that would be, but it is. And then it's just information about where the website is, but you're going to have to do this by phone or by mail anyway. If you're doing a 6-month policy, you can skip the online part, because there's no reason. The students are going to be giving their devices back in June. So they'll be checked out, they'll keep them all the way till June, and then they turn them back in again. And when they come back here, if they're 6th and 7th graders, they'll be issued the device again. High school, I'm not sure, I know they had a little issue with the Noviz, I don't know exactly, but I know that they were very breakable because they twisted, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. But there will be some kind of device, high-tech device for your child to use in high school. Okay, go ahead. Okay, of course, as a parent, these are kind of common sense. Monitor use and care of the device, just like any kind of, parenting. Make students more responsible, check internet history, and no private browsing, no incognito stuff. And a couple of sources. I love one of them for about, not even just about online and technology, but Common Sense Media. It actually started, I found this site about 6 years ago. It started off as a site that would recommend, would review books for their appropriateness for different age levels. This is a really good book for 10-year-olds. And then it went into films, and then it started getting into all kinds of other things. If you go to Common Sense Media, it has some great advice, and it goes from K through high school. The lessons that are there, or the activities that are there, or the content that's there is very age appropriate. It's not like an 8th grader is going to see like baby stuff or something that's over their head. It's targeted really well. So I recommend that site. I'm not as familiar with On Guard Online, but Common Sense Media I love. I use it all the time. Okay. 3 reminders. The device, what students use to access content. Okay, then really haiku, they talked about it a little bit. We had this meeting in October. At first, a lot of parents had not seen much of haiku yet. I used haiku the last couple of years for when I was teaching online. It's a very powerful tool. Your child's teacher may be using it at various levels. And Mrs. Martin, who was in our video, she's our geometry teacher here. She's all over it. You can see her page. It's very detailed, lessons, demos, videos, places for students to submit assignments. They can be part of a discussion. It's called the Learning Management System. And if you're not familiar with that term, if you've been in college the last few years, maybe something like Moodle or Blackboard or e-college, it's something like that. But it's a little more graphically fun. Okay, and then, we have a new Aries parent portal, and we're coming up on semester, and I think there's been a lot of activity of checking out where students are in terms of having their assignments complete and that kind of thing. That's directly at our website. A lot of information there about attendance and grades, missing assignments, that kind of thing. And it's a big part of our pyramid of intervention, which is our tutorial process to make sure that students succeed. I've been meeting with students that have been having academic issues, as of the counselors and the principal as well. And so far, it's been effective with most kids. We've seen the missing assignments disappear because they know we're watching. And as parents are watching, that really helps too. We're doing this every 3 weeks. Instead of it's 6 weeks, you get a progress report and then a report card. We're doing these grade windows every 3 weeks to see where kids are. So there's not this surprise after 6 weeks. Okay, go ahead. Oh, that's nothing. So that's basically it. We have a place for you to ask some questions if you want to write any down. I'll show you our website, and you can see where the frequently asked questions and a couple other things are. I know you'd love to stay till 7 o'clock, but we're going to not make you do that. Well, the first night we had 600 people in this room. And the next night, next morning we had about 200, and then we had another 300 on another night. So, yeah, the first night it was standing room only. It was just unbelievable. So let me go to our website real quickly. If I can make sure I have internet access in this room. This is one of my favorite sites, by the way, Symbaloo. I'm addicted. These are bookmarks. I'm the world's worst bookmarker, but this is everything that I go to all the time. So if I want to go to Gmail up on the top right, or I teach classes at UCR and National University, there's my links there. There's several haikus. So I'm going to go to our Pioneer website, which is the Wildcat here. Oops. And I'm going to scroll down here. I can get this thing on move. Here's the section where you will find the Parent Technology Meeting Frequently Asked Questions, the Tustin Unified District Acceptable Use Policy, the Tustin BYOD Agreement. Already students can bring their own devices if they want to, if they sign off on this BYOD agreement. So if they have their iPad, some kids have them already. If they sign off, they can bring them to school as long as they follow the same rules that students will follow when they get their iPad. So anyway, there's a lot of information there. And the insurance form should be there too, but I'm not sure. I know I put it up there, so it might be under a different place, but let me double check and it's not further down. Yeah, there it is. iPad insurance application is right here. So anyway, a lot of information there on our course site. And that's also where our calendar is and upcoming events, etc. Okay, so that's on the internet. And if you have any questions, I can answer a couple of them. But when we had 610 people over the first night, there was no way. So we definitely just filled them out. There are some cards right up front. Question box, if you have a question you'd like to write. Even if it's already been answered, there's no reason not to. Go ahead and ask it if you're curious about it. And if you have the form filled out, if you could put it in the A through L box or the M through Z box. Any questions?
Where did you get the form?
The form, it was right as you walked in.
Oh, it's blocked.
If you came in that door, no. So yeah, and we can help you find it. They're alphabetical. We had a couple missing. A couple people came, even though announcements said that if you've had a child at an elementary school and you went to their meeting, you didn't have to come to ours. But you had to sign the form, so you could come in anytime, and the forms are in the office. I just kept them in my office, and you can sign them. But we had a couple missing. We've had 1,300 students here. As parents come in, think they got out of order alphabetically, so we missed a couple. But I have some generic ones that we passed out that worked just fine. Any other questions? Yes? It actually will start replacing the books. Already, we have textbooks at Haiku, depending on your teacher, use of it. I know there's already resources online, and we're moving towards that. We're actually getting away from publisher textbooks and getting more to online textbooks. It'll be a little while to make that transition. Well, you know what? They can carry a lot fewer books. Yeah, get that 70 pounds on your back. It's good for you. Go uphill both ways to home. So, anything else? Are you excited about getting your iPad? Say yes. No, you say, yes, I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited.
Even if you have one, and a lot of kids do, this is your school iPad, and you can bring it back and forth and all of that. It'll be loaded with apps that are appropriate for Tustin Unified School District students. We're going to discourage the app stuff, but, like going to the App Store and doing things, but, I have my iPad here, and I have all my stuff in the cloud that I got when I, bought my first iPad. I have it on my device. it's like a flipped classroom environment? Yes. As a matter of fact, I did presentations on flipped environments. Some people, it's not quite as simple as do the homework in class, kind of thing. What's really important is that you do something meaningful in the classroom. So what it does, when you do it, like if you're lecturing for 25 minutes, well, watch the lecture at home. And then come into class, that's 25 minutes that you freed your teacher and your students for them to get out there and work with the students. And that's the real part of flipped classroom, not just like, homework at school and lesson at home. It's really making the classroom experience more meaningful by freeing that time. But, when you're at home, you can still do some very valuable, important things. There's great content, digital media that's available nowadays. Yes? We are strongly recommending that they have them. Not everybody does, but we're bringing them along. We have a pretty good amount here at school, but once teachers see how effective it can be, they kind of join. And the second semester, once these come, I'm going to be, part of my job is to train on some really cool apps. Absolutely. I strongly recommend it. You can watch them be engaged in whatever lesson there is, yes.
So is the lesson even on the iPad at home?
No, part of it could say, suppose that you're going to be talking about, something in geometry, volume of a sphere or something. The night before, there may be a lecture or a video or a demonstration that's like 15 minutes long or something, and there might be a discussion board or something, and then when they come to school the next day, instead of spending that time, like they said in the video, we lecture in class and they think they got it, and they go home and they go, I don't know how to do this. We'd rather have them introduced to the content, watch a video, do some kind of activity online, and then when they come to class, follow it up with an engaging activity with their peers and with the teacher really working with them. So that's really what it is. Anybody have two different kids? Have two kids that are different? Yeah. Right. And it could be, and it's not just, and that's the part of it that's oversimplified. It's not just watch a video and come to school. There's something there that, should be engaging.
I guess as long as it's engaging.
Right. Yeah. And I can't promise that, but that's our goal.
It's like their homework. They have to watch the video and come prepared for their class.
Right. So they actually come. Yes. And they come to school with already the questions from the night before that are more targeted questions because they have been introduced to it. So, yes.
So should students have like iTunes cards just because they have to purchase that?
We're not going to recommend that you buy. Actually, that was part of the problem with when the iPads came out. They were too popular, and Apple wasn't ready for popularity of the educational environment, I don't believe. And so the whole process for buying apps in an educational environment was not strong. It still isn't. So really, we're not going to get into having buying apps really. Most of the teachers will use the apps there, and they're great apps. Most of them are free. They are free, and they're really good. I use several of them that are free. Not very free because it's free or not free. Anything else? Well, part of when the students sign off on this, there's an acceptable use, a detailed acceptable use policy online. I showed it on our website. And if you break the rules, we're giving a chance for students to use these devices in school. If they start using them inappropriately, which would be kind of hard to do because we're filtering and monitoring, but if they try to crack it or whatever, then they've lost the privilege of having that device. You get one more.
Okay. She just told me to be on the cover.
Darn. Well, if you think about it, he's got all deep thoughts. I'm done. If you have any questions, like the frequently asked questions, there's probably 20 or 30 questions that you may have thought about that are there and answered. I did that after the first night. Yes?
So with the warranties, so will the students have to come out of pocket or is it already paid for?
The insurance you'll have, it's paid for by the parents. But it's $23 for 6 months. I think, and it's pretty reasonable. Yeah.
At his last school, they had insurance that, they're all, that comes with the device. So we were able to go if something happened to it, we were able to take it back to the hospital.
Oh, I love the idea. I had no input on any of this. I like that idea. Yeah, because if that insurance was part of the price, but then you're kind of forcing people to buy insurance, and maybe they don't want to. But the warranty, you take it right to the app store. Well, the district didn't think that was, I guess, a good idea. They figured they would just hand filter it through the school district. Yes, one more. Anybody else? Anybody else here? No, that's it. No, okay, real fast.